Today we're talking about going back to school.
I'm Alema.
I'm G, and this is Manuia Life. So as we're nearing the end of summer, our kids are looking to go back to school. But going back to school conjures up mixed emotions, especially in the situation our kids are facing.
Especially during this pandemic. Lots of things have happened, lots of things have changed. The way we view education and what's coming down the pike, man, we've got to do a lot of adjusting.
I agree, Alema. So we have 4 kids out of our 5 in college, and each of them faces a different scenario. We kind of wanted to break that down, as many of you may be looking at the same situation.
Yeah, let's start with our one that's going to junior college.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this son of ours is looking to play football, and they have postponed the fall season, which will actually take place in the spring.
They've created this fall season kind of like a preparation for spring ball, and so it will be considered like spring ball, and then they'll go into January as if that would be fall camp, and then play a season in the spring. Man, that is
different.
Unprecedented. There's never been a situation like that ever in the history of football.
So most recently, a lot of the conferences have made decisions on holding back this fall, right?
Right. As of yesterday, Pac-12 has followed the Big Ten in canceling the fall season and looking to play a season in the spring. And then many of the other smaller conferences, Mountain West Conference, and some of these other Division II and III schools have canceled their seasons this fall. It all started with the Ivy League. The Ivy League is the first one to cancel all their fall sports and is looking towards the spring to continue with their sports.
That brings up our next, child who is actually going to be on campus, but taking all of her classes online.
So we have a daughter that's heading back east, going to be going to school in Boston. Her school has made arrangements so that no, they won't be taking in all the students this fall season or fall semester, but they have decided to bring in all the first year freshmen. So they will be able to have that first year college experience going into the dorms and creating those friendships. Even though she'll be there in the dorms
on campus,
we'll be taking a lot of those classes online.
All classes will be online. And so kind of tying that back into sports, our daughter was recruited to play rugby, and unfortunately, due to the limited student body that will be on campus, as well as the decision that was made prior, she will not be playing this year.
Entire fall sports, all the programs and all the teams will be pushed over to the spring.
Right. So very interesting how the new normal rolls forward. So let's talk a little bit about our 4th child in college.
That's right. We have a son is in school in Palo Alto. Mm-hmm. And ever since about March or April of this year, they've sent all their students home, and he has not been on campus. And they just learned today that they will not be anyone coming on campus.
Right. So similar to Harvard, Stanford was going to welcome in the freshman class, and we have recently learned that it will be closed campus, and so freshmen will have to start their college experience online.
A lot of adjusting. This is stuff that they're learning as they continue to make decisions, and these decisions are coming down the pike now as the schools prepare for the fall semester and professors are preparing their classes to be delivered either online or on campus. And so with these decisions comes a lot of other domino effect decisions, which include parents preparing in certain ways, time and resources to put towards and helping their kids become successful.
And now our last child in college.
Yes, let's talk about Sala. Sala is attending University of Utah. She is a senior and can't wait to graduate, but she had to do some adjustments to her course requirements.
That's right. Previously, for her major, it required her to do a study abroad. And so now, with travel restrictions, she is no longer held responsible for that requirement.
She's really disappointed. That was going to be a great class to add to her portfolio as a senior. I think they were trying to go to Costa Rica. Right? Is that the one?
Something exotic, I'm sure. And now we do have one son that is in high school.
We have one son in high school, and he is so excited to be at school.
To see his friends.
Not to study, but to see his friends.
Right. And so the options for our child was to be on campus, online, as well as on campus, or entirely online. So with all the pandemic, what are some of the takeaways that our family can share?
I think gratitude is one of those things that we're able to take away from this summer, because we've had to do things differently and see things in a different light. It kind of forced us to depend on each other and to see each other's worth. As family members, we really appreciated each other and the support and love that we're able to show each other when we weren't trying to strangle each other.
Yes, that's a good point. Gratitude in all situations is beneficial. I think it's how you frame your experience that allows you to learn and grow from it. And certainly this was a growing season for our family. Much of what we were used to as far as income, as far as celebrations, as far as being able to accomplish goals, all changed.
Life's too short not to be grateful and see God's hand in their lives.
I think another takeaway that we found as a family is resilience. Many times you don't know how strong you are until you face something that requires you to elevate and step up and own the process. And so I was grateful on many occasions to see our family evolve and do better. And certainly we're not perfect. We haven't, met the mark yet, but the attitude of taking responsibility in opportunity is beneficial.
That's right. A lot of situations, during the pandemic, we didn't know what to do. Our children didn't know what to do. But it allowed for a lot of conversation and picking each other's brains and trying to figure out ways to achieve things, and therefore allowed them to own that they can do things about their situation and adjust and still be responsible and get those goals achieved.
One thing that our family can share is that this pandemic has given us practice, right? That we've taken a few reps, we know what can happen, and if it does, what then we would do moving forward. And so
we know our limitations now.
Right. It better prepares us for perhaps the gaps that we overlooked when things are going well.
I kind of see what Geraldine is saying, taking it back to sports. Sometimes winning masks all the things you're not too good at. And if you're winning all the time, it's great, but then there's some things you're not growing in, you're not developing. What losses do and what struggle does is kind of unveil the things that you're weak at. And so that would allow you the opportunity to start working on those things so that you can choose to strengthen them before you run into that struggle.
Absolutely. That's what facing adversity and trials in your life allows you to do. I remember there's a saying that there's no growth in a comfort zone and no comfort in a growth zone. And so when things are tough, when it requires you to become your better self, you're able to make that hurdle. You are the beneficiary.
If you like what you've heard, go ahead and hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Manuia.